Welcome to When Culture Calls, where three worlds have collided. We're bringing girl talk to the main stage while flipping culture on its head with our passionate point of views. You're dialed into deep connections and necessary conversations. Whenever I need someone to call on, I know I got my girls.
So, welcome to episode 2 of When Culture Calls. I'm Kalifa.
I'm Endeshia.
And I'm Amara.
And this is When Culture Calls. I know first I want to tell you guys, listeners, viewers, thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you so much for dialing in. Thank you so much for being here with us. If you are here from the pilot episode 1, and now, thank you. I just want to give you guys some quick announcements. Please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. This is a new platform, a new show, and we really want you guys to come along for the ride. So if you are still here with us, thank you. Go ahead and follow us on the rest of the social media platforms. That includes TikTok, that includes Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Engage with us. If something pops up in mind, if it's funny, if you disagree, if you agree, we want to know. This is not one-sided. This is a relationship, and we go together real bad.
Real bad.
Real bad.
So thank you guys again. We're going to get into the show. Last week, we ended off with seeing who we're going to call or dial into. So I wanted to give you guys an update. I know last week I said I'm going to call my stepmom, and I did. And it's so crazy because I thought that our conversation would just be about 10-15 minutes, check in and see how everything is going. But it was actually like an hour-long conversation. And she basically was telling me she's a little depressed and she is not feeling her best. So it just made me really feel good that I did tap in and I did call her, and kind of we loved on each other. Amara, you ended us with the cliff note that you are not tapping in and dialing in with anyone, and that's cool, and that's fine. But I want to know, did you stick with that and stick with solitude, or did you reach out to anyone?
I decided to stick with solitude. You are not alone. And I felt really good. Maybe this week I may find someone to call, but I stuck with the solitude.
Well, that's good, and no shame in that. Endeshia, did you reach out to your nieces and nephews?
I did. I actually reached out to them, and we're actually going to. My dad's birthday is next weekend, so we're like going to all see each other for my dad's birthday. So it was great speaking to them, but I need to see them, so I can't wait to see them next week.
Can't help but wait.
Yes, I love that. I felt like so warm. It felt so warm when you said you're gonna reach out to them.
Yes.
I have a lot of nieces and nephews, so I'm glad you get to see them soon. But let's get into the episode. I wanted to kind of bring possibly a new topic we'll create. We don't know. Again, join us for this ride, okay? So this is what I'm gonna call culture court, and it's basically just things that I saw happening in the culture, and I saw two different stark point of views. So I want to bring it to my girls and see what they say. Now, I don't know if you guys are getting to know us. I am a business entrepreneur fanatic. So the first topic I want to start with is business related. As you know, or you may not know, QC, which is Quality Control Music, they actually went into a recent acquisition where a company bought the music label. So what that means is they are no longer independent. Amara, I know that you are a designer and that you have big business goals. So I wanted to know, is being acquired something you would ever consider with your brand 301 style?
Well, right now I would say no, but if going in the future, depending on how big it got, it would possibly be a thought for me because I don't think I'm the brand. I know that I have many ideas. I know that I'm ever flowing of ideas. So for me, if it made sense, I would do it. Yeah.
Okay. And in Endeshia, I know that when we first met, you had a business venture. So I'm not sure if that was your first and only business venture, and if you went into anything since then. But starting with that, was that New Taste? Was that your first business venture?
It was. It was actually my first like creative outlet that I had that I created, and you were a part of, and so were many other ladies. But yeah, that was like one of my first.
So, question: when you went into that, did you have like the end in mind? Did you ever imagine selling the company or maybe merging with a bigger platform?
At the time, I don't think that that was like a thought in my head. It was just pretty much like wanting to grow it. But I feel like if I was to get to the point of growing it, it's really hard to say. I feel like it could have been something I probably passed down like to family or possibly sell. I can't, because I don't have it anymore. It's kind of hard to say, but I don't know which way I would have went.
All right, so I'm gonna get into the details, and thank you guys for sharing a piece of the things you've created. So QC, again, music label, they are most notably known for bringing talent like the Migos and Little Baby to the forefront, and they sold to Hybe, which is HYBE. It's a South Korean entertainment firm. Now it gets a little controversial because they have an American. I guess they started like their American company, so it's Hype America, which is now run by the CEO, Scooter Braun. He is the manager for Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and you may have heard that he bought this music label, and that included Taylor Swift's catalog, and she was upset about it.
I did hear
Yeah,
that.
so his company is the one who bought it and had the rights to six of her studio albums. Okay, so that's already in itself layered on layered. So when I saw that New York Times and the Shade Room and all the other platforms put out the story that QC was acquired, a lot of people had different point of views. They felt like, the sentiment when they say don't sell grandma's house, keep it in the family. Or some people was like, big bank tanks little bank, and this is what business is. This is the system of business. So what's the big deal? Now, in this acquisition, they are set to get $300 million. Okay, so QC is run by two people, Coach P and Coach P and Coach K and P, which is Kevin Lee and Pierre Thomas. Anyways, 50% of that money is from stocks, so they'll be able to participate in the firm's future earnings, and the 250 is cash. Um, so I want to know: is this deal with QC and Hype does that make them a sellout or does that make them business savvy? Um, who wants to go first?
Now, these men have been in business for quite some time. I would assume that they know what they're doing. They know a little bit more than I know. So I'm not too sure if I would consider them sellouts. We see a lot of people do it all the time. One of the men that we see do it all the time is Jay-Z. And that's how he grows his bank. Or, he what did he not recently just sell? What is the not Duce? Ace of Spades, I believe it is. If I'm right, I could be wrong, but overall, we see businessmen do it all the time. I think it's business savvy, and I think that these men are rubbing elbows with people that know the business and how to grow the business, and they know the secrets behind becoming wealthy. So honestly, I wouldn't go ahead and call them sellouts. Really and truly, what are they selling out? Are they selling out the culture? You can always create another. I feel like they can always create another brand, and that is for the culture. I think that they've done enough, and if they felt like that's what was best for them, that's what's best for their company.
Endeshia, what do you think? Is this business savvy or does this make QC a sellout?
Yeah, I think that like business is business, to be honest, and I don't have as much knowledge of their company, and like all the knowledge of this deal to say that they're a sellout, to be honest. But I think business is business. If this is the best move for them, then why not? Who am I to say if they're a sellout or not? I think if you are considering them to be a sellout, I would have to ask, is it because quality control is like they work with they have like other artists' music. If they're selling artists' music that don't want to actually be sold, like they don't want to be sold, like I don't know if it's masters, I don't know the details of it. But if it's including other people that actually, oppose this deal, then I would probably say it could be selling out. But if everyone is for it, then hey, business is business. Everybody knows their deal and whatever they signed and got on. So
Yeah. I love both of those perspectives. I think when I was seeing the comments that were in opposition saying like, "Oh, don't sell grandma's house," or "You're a sellout," and P, which is Pierre Thomas, he went on his social media platform and he said, "I never really address these type of things, but I'm going to address it," and he kind of was saying like, "Why is it that we're gonna get labeled as that?" For me, based on both of the comments and even like your feedback, it just kind of brings me to the thought of culture is like it's a feeling. So a lot of people get emotionally attached. Like even when you think of politics and so on and so forth, how we feel like we need that hero, we feel like we need that major push. First we say we need the major push, but then when we get the major push, we get upset. So I think even like from a historical point of view, it can be a little overwhelming. I think it's amazing. I think that oftentimes the culture doesn't know the blueprint to business and allow them to make their own blueprint, allow them to bring us in, the culture in on it and see what could come of it. QC has the culture, right? So this is a South Korean based firm that is trying to get a specific demographic and audience. And I think because they are targeting the culture, black culture, it feels like that's why it's coming across as like, oh, you're selling out. Like you get us to buy into your business, you get us to buy into your brand, you get us to buy into your talent, and then you go and do deals overseas or you do deals with, other people. So I feel like it's a little bit of a sting. But I think my hot take is sometimes we need the blueprint. We don't often have that, and I'm interested to see where it goes from there. So, in other news, there are some recent things that came up about the culture, and it's regarding culture vultures. So much like how some people feel like QC is selling their business to some possible culture vultures, another businessman has come forward targeting the black culture, so to speak. So, have you guys ever heard of a businessman called Grant Cardone?
yes,
No.
Okay, so Endeshia, what have you followed his brands or you just know him through social media?
I just know his name from social media. I know like he's a big real estate mogul, and he has like he teaches other people about what he's doing and things. I'm not well versed on him, but I do know his name and who he is.
For sure, and me too. I only see him on some platforms. So, anyways, he basically went on the internet and he was doing an interview, and he said that his demographic is black people under 40, and he connects with them because he uses street terminology. So, I wanted to know, what do you believe? Do you believe that is offensive to say that you connect with black people because you use street terminology? Or do you think he just used the wrong sentencing when he was just trying to describe his demographic? So he basically went on, and I don't know if it's helpful to know, but Laura Trump, he was on her platform, and he said that he speaks to his audience who are 40 and under, who are mostly black, in street terminology because they cannot understand big words.
There's a 10 times better chance, 10x, that the black kid knows me. Now, the reason is because we go after that audience and we're talking to them in very street terms,
What?
if you will, very not big nomenclature, vocabularies,
Does this does this make him a culture vulture?
Absolutely. It makes him a culture vulture, and it's a very disrespectful and degrading for you to even think that the demographic of people support you because of the way that you speak. As if we can't, as if someone who uses Ebonics can't understand someone who is filled with degrees. I don't understand that logic, really and truly. And I think it's really disgusting, but it just goes to show more of the mindset of the black people that are supporting people like this. Um, I think that sometimes we want to be a part, or we want to accept everyone within the community, within the culture, that we don't realize their thoughts of us is actually self-deprecating. It's not beneficial. It's not conducive. It doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. And I think that there are many people that's doing the same exact thing that he's doing. And that's why I asked you, was this the black man? Because I can't remember his name, which really sucks. But I know that there's a black man on social media. He does kind of like the same exact thing. He has a huge following within the black community. And he doesn't say things like that. So I think he is a culture vulture.
Absolutely. Endeshia, based on just the quick soundbite that I gave where he said he talks to a demographic under 40 in street terminology. What are your takes? Does that make him a culture vulture? Or is it just him honestly stating who his demographic is?
Yeah, so I heard of this story when it comes to Grant Cardone, and I think that what he stated it in an unpleasant way, but at the same time, I just feel like I don't know the big whoop of why people are upset, to be completely honest. What he was saying is that with the people who actually opt into his courses, the ones that are under 40 and black, he has to pretty much reel it in when it comes to finance terminology. So that was the whole message of what was said. I think he said it in a disgusting type of way, but that's ideally what he was saying. So if we don't have the knowledge of certain finance terms, if we don't understand the lingo, like if we are not well versed in these things, and I'm guessing the people who are opting into his courses aren't and are wanting to learn, the fact that he is quote unquote dumbing it down to pretty much educate his audience, to me is not a negative thing. But I think when it comes to he's using street terminology,
Street terms.
I don't really know what kind of finance street terms there are. So when he says he's using street terminology, I think that specifically is offensive. But at the same time, like, if you understand that your demographic of people who are like coming to you for help are not understanding certain finance terms because they don't have access, or they haven't had access in the past, and you are curving your materials to actually help and assist them, what's the big deal? I think that when it comes to our people, we are very like emotionally driven people. And even though he said something in the wrong way, we can be angry and irate about that. But at the end of the day, it's just like when you know your target audience, or you know, like, this is a set demographic that also opts into what you are selling or using, you have to curve whatever it is for that audience that is actually looking for assistance. So
Okay, I like both of those point of views. I would say my hot take is this. Okay, when I listen to it again, a lot of us are emotionally charged, right? So oftentimes we like, come again, sir. Say what?
What?
Who? And to keep it a buck, I grew up in the projects, and I mean, what street terms? What street terms? What are street terms? I don't know. I was like, is this just one of those unseasoned type of ways to say you understand black people? It didn't translate for me.
Hey, what up, Shawty? What good with you? You straight though? I'm just trying to holler at you, you know, I'm just trying to get to know you a little something like that right there. You know what I'm talking about? I want to see you good with it. What's good with you, baby? You got a little booty out there like that, you know what I'm talking about? You act like you want somebody to holler at it. You got to stick it out there like that, you know what I'm talking about? I'm just trying to be real with you, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing serious about that. You know, I just want you to know. And so I sort of picked up this dialect and I ran with it. And to this day, I tell you, I get calls. a voiceover.
And I think there was other things that I'm not going to bring up now, but if you guys just do a deep dive that he said, you can kind of see that it's more of a belief, a superior belief. Like he feels like he's giving us something golden, and information is golden, but the way knowing what he's done in the past or what he said in the past that is also offensive, it just feels like you knew the platform you were going on. This is someone whose last name ends in Trump. All right, so that's already you're already being salacious, right? And at the end of the day, if 60%, I think that's what I said, 60% of your demographic is this, you would want to be intentional because they are the ones feeding your pocket. You would want to be mindful. Uh, and in my work experience, right? I work in healthcare. So when we send out information to our clients, yes, there is a standard to use there is a standard to use layman terms. Oftentimes, they may say, write this so that a third grader can understand it. That could be offensive to somebody who's getting a letter stating, oh, they wrote this in mind because they think that I can read at a third grade level. So I understand any of that which demeans someone's knowledge base or understanding of something. It can be offensive. But I also think when you go to college, right? It's your first day, you don't know anything. Is your teacher using street terminology to connect with you and get you the information? No. They may go slow. They may use other terms that are more basic, but street terminology, that is almost stating that black people are hood, in my opinion. I'm from the hood and I don't even understand street terminology. Like, what what is the equation between black, under 40, and street? Because if I'm coming to your platform, right? If I'm coming to your platform to buy in and get this information because you're the expert, do you think that I'm dumb? I'm smart enough to know that I need this. I'm smart enough to know that I want to invest. That means that I'm an investor on a smaller level, right? So why would I be familiar with street terminology, or why would I feel so connected to street terminology? I think it is just egregious and it's a reach. And I think that some people use these type of moments as clickbait marketing strategies, and ultimately this is why we, the people, can give I guess our attention to Earn Your Leisure, Wall Street Trapper, MG Mortgage, a million other people that talk about investing that are us, or that are respectful to the people who are buying into their products. So I would say that Grant Cardone at this point is a culture vulture. Now that we got through that, I want to get into a little bit of tea. So I want to take it a little bit off of business, but still we're doing culture court. Now, are you ladies familiar with Alexis Skyy?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Well, to the viewers and the listeners, if you're not familiar with Alexis Skyy, she is like a socialite and reality TV personality. Recently, I've seen her on social media where she's kind of rebuking her city girl ways and publicly redeeming herself, and she's sharing her journey in a more vulnerable, transparent way.
I have been on a spiritual journey and I have been, getting closer to God, and I've committed my life fully to Him. There's a lot of things that I've changed, and I haven't really shared this with any of my friends or family because it's not really for anybody else to understand. If they get it, they get it. If y'all get it, y'all get it.
So I want to know from you ladies, do you think that you should heal? Do you think that you should bring your healing center stage and bring your community and your followers along publicly on the journey, or do you think you sit back, do the healing, do the transformation privately? Who wants to go first?
I don't think we can tell someone how to heal. I think that if she feels like she is learning on her healing process and wants to share that, then she should be able to share that. And then hopefully there is a community of people that support her in this healing process, because healing doesn't have to just be alone. It doesn't have to be by yourself. It doesn't have to be quiet to say that it's actually being done. So I think that it doesn't really have to be silent. I think with Alexis Skyy specifically, healing in, I don't know if this is healing or if she's just like communicating her thoughts at the times that she's speaking. But I just think that she specifically may want to reel it in only because of her past and only because of what she's looked at in society. I think that along her healing journey, she's probably going to get more ridicule and negative energy versus positive energy, because that's just how society works. Once you have that little, what is it, scarlet letter, it's going to be there forever. So I think that for her, specifically for her sanity and for her heart, that she should sit back and just go through her healing process. And maybe when she is at her, not say end because we're not fully healed, but when she has accomplished or received the things that she's actually wanting. This specific instance, I feel like because she's looking for a relationship, a respectful man, a man to view her in a certain light, it might kind of be best for her to like take it back, reel it in, and then maybe once she gets to a place where she is actually dating healthy men, she can then share with the world, this is what I did and this is why I'm here. But for other people specifically, I don't believe that healing has to be silent. And I feel like if you do speak up, you're more than likely going to find a community that can also help you heal.
Okay, Amara, what do you think? Should you do your healing journey privately or bring it center stage?
I agree with Endeshia's sentiment. I don't think that you can tell someone how to heal or what works best for them when healing. And healing is a everyday thing. It's not something that ever ends. Once you realize that you are damaged or you have been exposed to something traumatic, it's a everyday thing. So, like I said, I don't necessarily think that you can tell someone how to heal.
Stop trying to break us, heal us.
But when it comes to Alexis Sky's past and the things that she's requiring or the things that she's I think it's almost like exploitation, to be honest, because it seems like it was overnight. Now I know that social media can make you think that you know a person, or things happen overnight because you don't necessarily get to see what they're doing behind the scenes, so it does feel like it's overnight. But I do think that she should take a step back. Maybe she should disappear from social media for a bit and then come back and feed us the information. What did you learn in solitude? Because the one thing I know for myself personally, while I am in the journey of healing, I know that I can't be around people. I can't be on social media too much. I need that time for myself to process my thoughts, process the trauma that I've been dealt. I need to actually sit down and hear my own thoughts and what makes me happy, what triggers me. It gotta be a relationship with me and myself first before I go into the world, start projecting what healing looks like. I think that it is always a good thing when a woman decides that she's ready to heal herself and she's ready to do the work. But are you really doing the work, Alexis, or is this just another get rich scheme? Is this just because I see that she's having like I don't even know what to call it. Is it like girl meeting where they sit down and have prayer meetings and things of that nature? I'm not even sure what you call it. But my thought is, are you doing that behind the scenes by yourself?
Right.
If you are, then fine. But if not, it doesn't look good. And then the thing about it too is that while she is healing, you're putting out requests for husbands.
I know what I'm asking for as a queen, and I know what I deserve. And what I want to receive, I'm able to give back to my husband, to my future husband.
I know that for me personally, I'm not looking for anyone. Now, I'm not telling Alexis to be like me, but because I'm in the process of healing, I'm not in the mindset of looking for a man right now because I know I'm not done healing. And while I said that healing is a never ending thing, I know that I'm not even fully content with myself to even feel like I have the right to request a certain thing from a man when I know I'm not done doing the work. I want to be whole, and once I'm finished doing the work, then I can put out my request. But yeah, I don't know. Good luck to her on her journey.
Yeah, I definitely agree that. Well, what I know you said is this like a money grab? And I have 2 points of views. Okay, so I think a lot of young girls idolize the younger girls like Alexis, Skyy, and other personalities on social media that similarly look aesthetically beautiful. They have money. In love with the money, I ain't never letting go. They're associated with a certain type of guy, and their demographic are young teenage girls. They are influencing the young girls of tomorrow. So I do feel like, in the same vein that you do something that may be considered wrong, such as like, let's just say being a city girl, right? Let's say Alexis Skyy was a city girl, whatever. All of these things. I think that because she did that in a public forum, and she does believe that maybe she doesn't want to live like that, she believes there's other things, bigger things in life. I do think she should bring center stage her new journey, in the same tone and way that she did what someone would consider negative, because the young girls are looking up to her. The young girls may not even realize, like, we know in our 30s, some things you need to do in solitude, you need to do in private. But because she influences a certain demographic, I was like, okay, it's kind of like, if you disrespect me publicly, you need to apologize to me publicly. So if she's doing these things publicly that are negative, when she's doing the positive, do that publicly as well. Now, I do think that it is not Alexis Skyy responsibility to give someone discernment. So the young girls still need to be raised by other impactful women so that they could be taught discernment, to know, like, oh, I like Alexis Skyy and she's changing her ways, but let me see what this is about before I start going and giving my money and signing up for these healing retreats, etc., etc. So I think it's not on Alexis Skyy only to, kind of discern what she's doing. And then the other thought, which I think that it does become a money grab, because at the end of the day, these girls know she's saying, like, I don't want to do what I did before for money, so I'm changing my ways to still do other things for money. And I think that you should be honest and transparent about that. You should be open and stating, like, listen, my brand was this and it's now that. And as I grow, I'm going to bring you along. And there's a buy-in for that. I don't want to do this alone, but I also don't want to do it for free. There's nothing wrong with stating your intentions. I get a little bothered when people start to use God and use this like new growth and try to rebrand themselves as if it's just like some overnight process. So I just think that there's a lot of things young girls can learn. You can change instantly. You can say, today I don't want to do the things that I did before, and that's valid and fine. But I also think if you care about yourself and you care about the people that you are seeing as your community, you should proceed with caution. So, ladies, that was the first, I guess, culture court. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about any of these topics. Do you think that if your business gets acquired, that makes you a sellout, or if it makes you business savvy? Do you think people that are not from the Black community stating that Black people need to be taught in street terms, does that make you a culture vulture? Or does that mean that layman's terms is needed and you don't see anything wrong with it? And do you think you should bring your healing center stage or sit back and do it privately? Again, we are When Culture Calls. Please comment, engage, follow us on all social media platforms. I'm Kalifa.
I'm Endeshia.
And I'm Amara.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.